Unforgiving Ross-Abian Desert. Good morning, welcome to Coulee Outdoors. I'm your host, Brandon Scott, and with me is Nash.
Good morning.
We are east of the mountains, hiding in the one portion of the state that's not supposed to get rain today. We are near Winthrop, Washington, in the Methow Valley, and we are going up the Wolf Creek Trail into the Lake Chelan Sawtooth Wilderness. I'll put ratings down below. I remember to say that for once. So the Wolf Creek Trail is supposed to be really pretty. We've already seen a lot of wildflowers just on the access road up here. It is a 10-mile trail one way to the top. I think it's Abernathy Pass or Purple Pass. Got the map I could never find either. Oh no, it technically dead ends at Gardner Meadows. I thought it connected up. I guess not. Abernathy Pass goes up Cedar Creek. Sorry, that's where I got it from. So anyway, it's 10 miles to the trail end at Gardner Meadows. We're not going that high because A, it's snowed in, and B, 20-mile hike is stretching it even for us this time of year. Let's see here. So yeah, there'll be a couple of old trail intersections to quote-unquote dead trails along the way. We'll probably stop at one of them, find a good spot along the creek. About 4 miles is an old patrol cabin, but this did burn. The first 8 miles of the trail did burn in the 2021 Cedar Creek Fire, so who knows if that patrol cabin is left anymore. For the geology, the entire thing is in unit called KPS, which is the sedimentary unit of the Methow block from when there was widening of the plate during the late Cretaceous. So it became an ocean basin filled in with sediments, and then everything's risen up since then. So the ocean's obviously gone because we're at 3,000 feet of elevation. This does go into the Lake Chelan Sawtooth Wilderness. Between the two of us, we have it ranked as our number 10 out of top between the two of us with a score of 11.5. So if I go to the top 25 and count out where it is, Pasayten, Skokomish, Henry M. Jackson. I have it at, looks like 10.
You have it at 10, I have it at 12.
Yeah, so it comes out to a score of 11, which is top 10. So yeah. What are we expecting? Well, there's not going to be any snow because we read a trail report from 2 weeks ago saying there's no snow for the first 6 miles of trail, and the wildflowers out. So we're out here to go walk through a burnt forest, varying degrees of intensity, and to go check out the wildflowers and go enjoy what part of the state's going to have sun today. Thank you for joining us. Nice pretty new sign at the trailhead. As you can see, the forest is burnt from 2021. They did redo and make a nice new pretty stock corral because this east side wildernesses like the Pasayten and the Chelan are very popular with backcountry horsemen, which is sweet because, you know, these are nice areas to be in for everybody. So there's a nice new corral rebuilt there. And let's go. Vámonos. You got dandelions at the trailhead, gross. These are bunches of lupin that haven't popped yet. That's lupin that hasn't flowered yet. Over here, this is fireweed that hasn't popped yet. Dandelion, large ponderosa trees. This looks like a whole bunch of, oh yeah, this is definitely willow along the trail because you can tell those are willow. And then you can see in the hillside back there is a whole bunch of yellow flowers. Pretty sure most of them are going to be arrowleaf balsam root. So yeah, our goal is 4-ish miles to the old patrol cabin, and if we're feeling a little sprightlier, we'll continue the next half mile to the one of the abandoned trail junctions. But it smells so damn good. Look at all my goodness, Nash. All of these sprouts are all fireweed. Come back in 3 weeks, it's going to be a sea of fluorescent pink. Damn, we chose the wrong time to I know. But every one of these tall shoots that you see sticking up YouTube, that's last year's fireweed crop. That is not balsam root. I don't know what that is. I will obviously tell you on the way back once we get service, because I can take a picture of it right now and my phone will tell me later. There is some balsam root down there. But yeah, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be an enjoyable day. Will it tell me? No, I have to open it. That's right. I always forget. You can hear Wolf Creek. So we've got a 1/4 mile descent down to the creek and the wilderness boundary, and then we'll pretty much be within easy sight and sound of the creek the entire way. Wild Rose? Is
this larkspur starting to bloom?
There's really small stuff? No, that's like baby's breath or something. And then there's this other purple in here too. Yeah, no, larkspur is much bigger. And then there's
these guys
that stuff too. I don't know. I'm gonna have to take a picture of that too. Will it tell me what this is now that I don't have service? Arnicas! Arnica cordifolia. Latin name. I don't know what my Latin is, but the yellow flower that's not balsam root is Arnica of some sort. So I'll take a picture of this purple guy here. I know you probably don't want to watch this part, YouTube, but you know. And then that is arrowleaf balsam root there. And then there's even some lupin. So I think I'll let this run till we get to, oh yeah, look at all the balsam root on the backside. Here's some larkspur. No. Yes, larkspur? I think.
It looks like it.
I think this is larkspur, yeah. I was gonna say it almost.
Not in full bloom.
No. Which is why I almost thought it was penstemon, but it's not. It's larkspur. But yeah, I think I'm just gonna let this run until we get to the wilderness boundary and the creek, because we've already seen 6 different kinds of wildflowers and a literal sea of fireweed that's about literal sea of fireweed that has 2 weeks yet to bloom. So yes, while everybody is oogling all over Facebook about the wildflower blooms down in the gorge this year, I mean, yeah, it's really nice because it's just a sea of balsam root. It's pretty freaking sweet up here too. Pretty freaking sweet. The arnicas, some mushrooms growing in the ponderosa. Balsam root in this open area, because the balsam root is one of those sage shrub steppe flowers, so it likes the really open areas. And then there's this little white flower every once in a while. I better get a picture of this because I have no idea what that is. So I'm gonna get a picture of it. If the camera will zoom out and focus on it, I'll tell you what that is too. I'm sure I'll list at the beginning of the hike what all we saw. That, I'm not sure what that is either. That looks like it might be fireweed. Got a whole bunch of lupin coming up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We will have to watch out for rattlesnakes because we are on the east side. I'm not too worried about them. I actually would like to see one. That'd be sweet. Yeah. Lupins, balsam roots, some larkspur hiding up underneath. It's gonna take us 20 minutes just to get to the wilderness boundary.
We're so distracted.
I mean, that's what we came out here for, YouTube, is to look at the wildflowers, and look, wildflowers. I wonder if they put the sign back up for the wilderness boundary after the fire. We shall find out. Side creek coming in here. I'm going to turn this off till we get to it. Hoverfly, you're fine. We're getting distracted by all the gorgeous wildflowers. I mean, just look at that in the sun. Just, yeah. I have seen the wilderness sign. It is ahead of us here about 100 yards, but it's taken us 20 minutes to go this half a mile because we've seen 8 different wildflowers we've been able to identify.
We got some morning dew on the...
Yeah, on the lupins. Yeah, I saw that. And then there's another 3 or 4 different wildflowers we haven't been able to identify ourselves yet too. So we've got over a dozen species of wildflowers going. And you should be able to see it because it's really freaking bright. But that right there is the wilderness boundary sign. And if I haven't yet I'll put a list of the wildflowers. In fact, that'll be the perfect spot for it. The wildflowers right there. If I didn't put it earlier in the video, I'll put a list of what we've seen today. That way you know. All this just starting to bloom out. This is what we came for, and we're getting sunshine and blue sky. This is better than what we were hoping for.
3 days ago, it says like 50% chance of rain here.
Yep, even last night, it's like, yeah, it'll be a 40% chance of rain, mainly after 9 a.m. Rainfall amounts 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch. And looking at what the radar says, it's supposed to slap up here sometime after noon or 2 o'clock, and it might not even rain up here. Yeah, futterblies. You can take a short of us crossing the wilderness area.
Me too?
Yeah. That you can. Sick. Oh, you booger.
Sorry, beautiful greenery.
I know. Don't stop at this next section of asters so I can get a 3 seconds of silence for the bit. Come around this corner and we might be able to see some snowy mountain through the dead trees. That would be Abernathy Peak at the head of the valley, 8,300 foot or so. Ooh, paintbrush. Oh my, look at all the paintbrush. Paintbrush is my favorite wildflower. It's bright, fluorescent orangey pink. That is my favorite. And the orange one specifically is Cascade Mountain specialty. Most other paintbrushes you'll find, like in the Rocky Mountains in Yellowstone and Glacier, for example, and a lot in the Cascades too, are a bright pink, similar to the shade I'm wearing. And that's the more widespread Indian paintbrush. That orangey one is the Cascade Indian paintbrush. Nope, we've gotten deep enough in to where we can't see the mountains anymore. That's okay though. So, yes, this does look sad and destructive, and that's because it is. It has burned hotter in here than it needed to, or it should have, because it hadn't burned in so long. There was so much stuff built up. So a lot of these trees are gone, but the forest will regrow. It always has, and it always will. It may take longer. This may not have good tree cover in here for another 25 or 30 years. And that's if another wildfire doesn't come through. and burn it again, but it's needed. And you will find stands and clumps of trees if I can get a good shot of that. It'll come back. This is what needs to happen. It needs to burn every once in a while. This starts the healing process. Nashy poo! Clump of vine maple up there too. I've seen that every once in a while. Some vine maple growing, which means there is good water in here too, year round. That's a lot of roses, and there's vine maple and everything else trying to reclaim it too. So it'll come back. Just got to give it time. It'll come back. In a decade, a lot of these worst soft snags will be down, and there won't be as many wildflowers because the maple and the willow and the alder and maybe even some aspen will come in and recolonize it, but then they'll grow out and eventually get crowded out by the more permanent firs and ponderosas. Just gotta give it time. Oh, there you go. You can see a little bit of Abernathy. I'll stop here. A little bit of white snowiness there, but we've gotten far enough into the drainage where we can't see much of it anymore. I can't tell from this distance. There is a bird of prey of some sort circling over here, making a whole bunch of noise, or at least he was. But we are nearing the junction with the old North Fork Wolf Creek Trail here fairly shortly. Yeah, I just pissed somebody off in there too. Oh well. There he is. He's up higher now. Yeah, it's probably just a regular old red-tailed hawk. Oh well. Excitement over. Continue. Regular dandelions. The wildflowers have all but ran out. Every once in a while we'll see some little yellow violet species of some sort and some strawberries. And then paintbrush and fireweed trying. But I think we're just about done for the wildflowers. Hoping to see something on some of these open slopes, but we're not getting any luck at the moment. But after we come around this next corner, will be North Fork Wolf Creek, which we'll have to cross. And there should be, at least there was, an old trail. It's been an abandoned trail since before the wildfire fire, so who knows? Who knows? Eh? Strawberries! Strawberries. Strawberries. Purple dudes? Purple dudes. No idea. 5 petals might be a violet. Who knows? Not a foggiest clue. I ain't no botanist. I'm a rock boy. Map says we should be right on the trail junction here somewhere. And I remembered to start hike when we started hiking for once, and we were at 2.52 miles, which is what the book said this junction would be at 2.5. So somewhere in here maybe. But like I said, it was an abandoned trail before the wildfire, so it probably did not survive. Look, North Fork Wolf Creek. Trail goes that way, so I'm assuming there's a decent crossing, but in this back side of the creek right here, come into a little grove of yellow glacier lilies. And there's a whole bunch of doublets. There's 2 doublets right there, a more leafed out doublet. Let's see here, Nash found one that was pretty well plopped out. Let's get the camera down to them. Camera level. Art. Not to lean on the other ones. Art. 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 Yeah. Good, good. All right. Let's go find a river crossing. I'm assuming if we follow the trail, there'll be a crossing. So I'm hoping this isn't the end of our escapade. Yeah, I mean, there's other stuff we can go do and go find, but I'd like to keep wandering up this trail. I did not find out what these are. There's some Oregon grapes starting to come out. But no, that purple fuzzy. Yep. Oh, sick! You gonna come back here and do that? Start back here a couple of steps. Crossing North Fork Wolf Creek. This log doesn't have much life left to it. Oh, that's got a bit of a gangster lean too. Woo. 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 That thing got a bit of a gangster lean to it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. That's where it used to cross. I bet that log blew out, so they just pushed another one over. Huh? I did not know. And it's supposed to be on that side of the creek too, so. Nope. I'm assuming that trail is now lost forever. Oh well. Our major wildflower has changed over from asters and arrowleafs to glacier lilies. I don't know how well, it's still hard for me to judge on what the camera picks up versus what my eyeballs pick up, but I can see everything. There is lilies all in here. Nash says he's got a quad now again too. Yeah, but I mean, this soil has to be really good because we're getting more doubles and triples and quads than regular singles. I mean, every other stock I look at is a double. There's a triple there. They're starting to come out. Oh my goodness, that is a good quad there. Wow. It's okay, it's only fireweed. Fireweed grows back in profusion. You got a triple there starting to come out. A quad there starting to come out.
I'm trying to imagine these a week later.
Yeah, we're about a week early for this.
Look at all of this.
It's gonna be just a sea of flippin' yellow. So yeah, we're a week early. This should have been Nash's birthday hike next weekend, but oh well, we'll find something equally sweet, hopefully. Oh my goodness. On the way back, I might put the camera down in front of one of these quads or triples and shoot, because if the sun's gonna come out, it's gonna help them all bloom too in the next couple hours.
No clouds rolling, but we got some blue sky over there.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Continue. Of course, I tell you to continue, and there's. I know. That's what I'm saying. There's more. There is more multiples, quad, triples, and doubles than there are singles out here. It is nice. Yep. And then we get into a grove that didn't burn, and you got perfectly healthy firs and pondies. Yep. And a spruce tree too. This guy right here on our right. Yep. We're about 4 miles in. We just crossed over the open crumbling basalt cliff, and on this side it looks much less intensely burned here for a little bit, so it's much greener. The trees themselves are mostly still alive, so and it's a lot shadier and cooler too, but we're a long ways above the creek and no sign of the patrol cabin. It looks like there was an old faint way trail back there a little ways. I have my suspicions that that goes to the old patrol cabin, but we're gonna keep going for a little bit, see if the trail gets back down to the water. If not, we'll turn around and go back to where we know it's by the water. Watch her way down there, us way up here. Wildflowers are back though, since we're in a much less burnt area of the forest. Concrete. Nope, that's just the rock. Paintbrush is back. Some balsam root and some asters were back. Coming back to the crumbly basalt cliff. We went a ways past this. The trail never got close back down to the creek, and we were just tired, and I looked at the map, and according to the map it doesn't for a while yet, so we decided to come back and we'll go find a spot down here where the trail's along the river and have our lunch and hang out. Let's see here. There's these tiny little yellow flowers. I haven't figured out what they are yet. I'll identify them later. And then got some larkspur out here in this open ground coming out. But this is the crumbly basalt cliff that some guides talk about at 3.7 miles. That's crumbling into dark sand. And there's two spots. There's a spot here and there's a big spot over here. Larkspur. Pretty larkspur. The sun is out and there's blue sky, so who knows, it might turn out and stay to be a nice day. Yeah, this is completely weird and different to what we've been going through the entire time, and it's only in this 200-ish yard spot too. It's cool though. Straight down, some Oregon grape blooming. Add that to the list. So yeah, we'll head down find our lunch spot and take a long exposure of us eating lunch along the creek. I'll post that video right there. And then if I take an underwater video, I'll do it after lunch. And then we'll see if we have the time or energy to go do like Patterson Mountain or Lewis Butte for their flowers too. But I can talk about that more on the way out. A whole bunch of these little yellow flowers and some more larkspurs popping out in here. So yeah, lots of wildflowers out. And there's still yet more to come, because there aren't a lot of strawberries out. There's no fireweed out. And I'm sure there's some other things trying to pop out that haven't popped out yet too. So it's a whole shebang. I think this is the only log we had to step over all day across the trail. Nash is away is ahead of me, but there's the wilderness sign, so we are leaving the wilderness now. So with this last bit of wildflowerage on our climb back up to Clank, I suppose I'll run our outro. Thank you for joining us on this Coulee outdoors adventure. I've been your host, Brandon Scott, and along with me today has been Nash, where we hiked the Wolf Creek Trail number 527, I think, in the Lake Chelan Sawtooth Wilderness outside of Winthrop, Washington. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down. Either way, please leave a comment down below so I know what you did or did not like about the video, so I can improve it for next time. Let's start off with the ratings. Accessibility. Winthrop is a 4-hour drive if Highway 20 is open. If not, it's a 4.5-hour drive from Seattle without traffic and without having to slow down for snow. And then you gotta drive a couple miles up a dirt road into the hills a little bit to get to the trailhead. Although this trailhead is east facing and fairly low to the valley, to the main Methow Valley floor, so it melts out early. Hence why we're out here in early May and you get all this nice wildflower viewage. So accessibility, I'd give it a solid 2, I think. 1.5 or a 2, probably a 2. Difficulty, we went 4.25 miles before turning around, but the first 3.5 miles are pretty much flat along the creek, and then you climb up to the Basalt Cliff and it looks like you stay up from the water for a while. So I'd give it 2 stars, fairly easy. Distance ain't that bad, the climbs aren't that bad. Enjoyment, we didn't get rained on. We did see lots of species of wildflowers, but outside of that, the forest is in its very initial stages of recovery mode from a fairly heavy wildfire. Same at the creek, so if it weren't for the wildflowers, there wouldn't be much to look at, but I mean, it still is a green spring forest. Didn't get rained on, but we also didn't get sun. So I'm gonna say enjoyment, solid 2.5, and that's fully being carried by the wildflowers. Overall, on a scale of 10, don't know why I'm changing it from scale of 5 to scale of 10, but I'd say overall today I'd give it a solid 6.5 or a 7. Yeah, it was a long drive, but that just means there's nobody else out here. Yeah, it's kind of a crummy day, but if it had been a nicer day, we'd have went to somewhere closer to home. So we had to come all the way up here to avoid the rain, but the trail's in good condition. The wildflowers are gorgeous, although not all the species of wildflowers are out. I'm looking at you, Paintbrush. Not Paintbrush, fireweed. But didn't rain on us, and there's no snow on the ground, so yeah. Let's end with some other trails in the area. At the very head of this drainage, you get to Gardner Meadows and you look up at Abernathy Peak. On the direct other side of Abernathy Peak is Scatter Lake, which is both of our number 2 hikes for the Chelan Sawtooth Wilderness. And when I redo my top 100 hikes in Washington, it'll probably crack the top 25 or top 30. Next door to that is Slate Creek and Slate Lake, which is lower down on the list for that. And then of course, on the other side of that ridgeline is the Twisp River Valley, which has a multitude of other hikes, including places like Twisp Pass and Dagger Lake and Stiletto Vista, which are all high on our Lake Chelan Sawtooth. So I'll tag some of those videos in as we do them. Other than that, on our drive out, before we get down to Winthrop, I'm gonna maybe, hopefully, pull over next to a field of really pretty balsam root and lupins and get a long exposure of that. We'll go eat pizza at East 20 Pizza in Winthrop, which I ate a heck of a lot of when I was working for the Forest Service one summer out here. And then on our way home, if we still have time and if it's still light out, we'll stop at the Washington Pass overlook and maybe get a video of the Liberty Bell and early winter spire in the snow. And then if we still have time after that, we'll maybe pull over at Emerald Pool Falls and get a short video of that waterfall. Other than that, next week, well, Wednesday, the 8th, is Nash's birthday. So, trying to brainstorm what he'd want to go do for that. So we'll see what that happens. And as we get further and further into May, hopefully we get a couple more desert hikes in before it gets too hot and all those flowers disappear. And then after that, it'll be starting, as it rolls into June, we'll start heading higher up into some of these hills and getting up into the mountains a little more. Other than that, we got vacation in Yellowstone in August, and that's will be about it. Thank you and ciao.